Hi everyone, welcome to A Beer with Brad episode 52. Tonight I'm having a Dad Jokes from Kros Strain Brewing Company. Dad Jokes is their annual Father's Day beer. They've been making it, 4 or 5 years now, I think. It's a great, easy drinking hazy IPA. It just has a great flavor. But like I talk about all the time, I love the artwork on the can. It has a hop grilling steaks with his socks and sandals on, and I don't know, just cool graphic, cool art, and a good beer with good art always attracts me to buying it. So again, this is from Kros Strain here in town, and one of their seasonal beers that I really enjoy. So Dad Jokes from Kros Strain Brewing Company for just in time for Father's Day. So cheers. So if you're thinking to yourself, this video is 2 weeks late, you would be right. It should have been out 2 weeks ago. The Dad Jokes I got for this video came out before Father's Day, and now here we are 3 days after Father's Day, so I'm a little late. So I made a video, a different beer with Brad, and I got done with it and I just didn't feel right about it, and I watched it over and over and over, and it was just negative and sad. And when I started making beer, Brad, it was just supposed to be fun and like go over some talk about photo stuff and photography, other photographers that I like, and tricks and tips that I like, and go over some of my photos and things like that. And basically I just complained about the art fair for 20 minutes because the last art fair I did was pretty bad. So actually it's the worst one I've ever done. But like I always say, art fairs are always up and down and all over the map. And when I get done with it, even though I always say art fairs are all over the map, it just seemed like I was complaining for 20 minutes. So that video will never be seen, and tonight we're going to talk about some firework photos. Fireworks last week, so to give you a little time frame, Father's Day was last Sunday. 2 days before that, the Friday before that, the College World Series started, and then the day before that, they had a fireworks show, kind of a kickoff to the 75th anniversary of the College World Series being in Omaha. So the College World Series has been around for 78 years, 75 of them in Omaha now. So they had a big fireworks show down on the riverfront. Also going on this TV right here, besides the College World Series, Stanley Cup, about 10 minutes away from Florida knocking off Edmonton and winning the Stanley Cup. I didn't really have a favorite in this. I mean, maybe if anyone, maybe Edmonton, but my team was the Avalanche. They've been out of the playoffs since the first round, so just kind of been watching it as a casual fan since then. So the guy with the white hair was just getting the Stanley Cup out of the trophy, polishing it up. You hockey fans know what I'm talking about. So a few minutes from seeing that hit the ice. But tonight I want to talk about my photos from the 75th anniversary of the College World Series. So I kind of had an idea where they were lighting fireworks from. The firework guy told me, kind of gave me some general directions. I tried. It was in a very restricted area where they're actually launching them from. I probably could have called ahead of time, got down there and talked to him and lined things up, but he gave me a general idea, and I could see off the bridge kind of where they were too. So I was hoping they would come up somewhere near they did, but I wasn't positive. If I had to guess, I was going to guess that these fireworks were going to come up just a smidge south of where they actually came up. But as you'll see in these photos, they came up in the exact perfect right spot. So I was very excited about that. I'm usually pretty good at guessing or estimating where they are. I mean, I've never really been way off. Sometimes I've been off on how high they would go and kind of either go out of my frame or be small in the frame. But actually getting a visual on these, I'm usually pretty close. People want me to do tutorials on fireworks or teach fireworks, and it's just kind of, I don't know, not right at this point. I'm not going to do that, but I'll tell you some of my tricks tonight. And the first thing is you got to find out where they're shooting them from, and then get on a map and draw a line. I knew where they were coming from, so I started looking. And if you don't have a paper map, which who has a paper map these days, get on Google Earth, and there's a measure tool. And so plop the beginning of your measurement down where they're lighting the fireworks from, and then just start dragging that measurement line around, line it up with different buildings, line it up with different water bodies, and see what lines up really well. And then you kind of know what you're looking at for taking the picture. The next thing I always do is check the wind. When you're doing firework photos, you cannot have the wind blowing towards you. cannot be blowing towards the camera. It has to be blowing left or right, preferably away from you, but left or right is the best. There is some advantages to having it blown left and right and not away, and I'll show you in a couple of these photos here in a little bit. But the wind is huge. You know, people always want to know about shutters and lenses and this and that, and it's like you got to get your location before anything, and you got to make sure it's not the wind is not blowing the smoke towards you. So good thing this night, got my location. You can see from the flag in the photo the wind was blowing from south and north, so that was no factor in these. And then it was just time to get ready for the show. So the next thing that was a little bit different on these than a lot of my firework photos, you can see here, is that I shot them in a portrait orientation. A lot of times, 99% of the time, I shoot all my photos in a landscape orientation, and this may be a different topic for a different video, but I kind of have this grudge right now in the last, I don't know, since Instagram came around, against portrait-oriented photos. When it works great, but a lot of times I want to shoot a landscape orientation so that it's wider than it is tall. So these shot in a portrait, it just worked out good with the way the water was. I knew the reflection was going to be down in the water. You had a pretty big blocky building on the right, and then you had a lot of nothingness on the left. So it was kind of it just screamed portrait orientation. So it was a taller, skinnier photo. So then I just set up and I let it rip. I should have, I'm going to take a drink while that's loading here. Okay, so I pulled up, what I did was open these up in Adobe Camera Raw or Adobe Bridge. That's my preferred editing software. I know most of the people have switched to Lightroom, but to me this is Lightroom without all the extra hassle of Lightroom. So I can see my camera settings up in the corner, and that's kind of what I really wanted to see. Well, Florida just tacked on another one. It must have been a hat trick, because I see him picking hats up off the ice now. So this first one here is the one if you follow me on social media, I posted this one the night of the fireworks show, and I just said quick preview of the fireworks. So this first one here is a very simple, it looks like there's 2 fireworks going off, and then 2 more, or 3 fireworks going off maybe, and then 2 more coming up behind it. A lot of my fireworks, if you see the whatever you want to call it, the spark trail going up, and then you see the fireworks in the air, a lot of times that is one set of fireworks already going off, and then that's the next round going up behind it, so it's not actually all the same firework. So this one here, 4 seconds, F11, they were all F11. I never changed that for a show, I don't believe, but what I did adjust was shutter speed, and you know, maybe I did change. I had to have changed the f-stop from changing the shutter speed, but we'll see here in a minute. 4 seconds, that's usually where I start. It gives you just enough where you get a full firework ball, and then you get the ones going up behind it. Anything shorter than that, you start getting like bits and pieces of the firework. You don't get the full thing. So next one, I processed right after that. Right after I finished posting that first one, like my quick preview. And while the first one was alright, the second one is awesome. I love it. There's so many cool things going on here in the second one. So this one is actually F11 at 13 seconds. So I changed the exposure quite a bit, and I brought the ISO down to 200. So the first one was up like 800, I think. So I guess I did keep it at F11. I was changing the ISO. This one just has a lot going on. You got the fireworks going up, you got the balls going off, you still have a little remnants of the fireworks behind it. So when I said having the wind either blow left or right, you can see in here the fireworks going up, you can see the sparks blowing off them, and it makes a really cool, I'll have one later where you can, when it's zoomed in more, you can actually see it better, but it just, you see that, all the sparks shooting off, it just has a neat look to it on the fireworks going up. And some of the ones in the sky too, depending on what type of shell it is, also you can see it going off. So one of my favorite ones from the show right here, just a lot going on in there. Next one, another 13-second exposure. A lot of different fireworks going off in the sky. And when this show got going, the water was pretty calm. And then whatever happened, I know there was one duck down there, and I don't know if there were others that moved or something changed or the wind picked up, but the water got really rough after the first couple. So you can see the reflection is not nearly as good, but it still has that color down there, and it's just something that adds to the photo, and I like it. We're going to go to the next one here. I really like this one. It has a lot more warm colored fireworks. A lot of times the warm ones just add just a little more depth to it when you have that really nice deep blue sky. Oh, let me back up. Blue sky, I love when fireworks start before the sky is completely black. When it has that nice blue behind it, to me it adds so much more interest than just a plain black sky. If you had the plain black sky, if you're really zoomed in, it probably isn't as big of a deal. But if you see a decent amount of sky, the blue adds to it. I wish fireworks shows always started when it was still blue out. So back to the one I said was warm. This one's neat because it has a couple different shells going off. Get another 13-second exposure. So you might possibly have 3 rounds of fireworks going off in the sky here, plus the next round going up. So you can see, you got the colorful shells, and then you got some of the ones that are, I don't know how to describe it. When there's an explosion, a lot of times, there's like 200 little balls that go out, or little flames that go out, and then sometimes they have it where there's only like 10, and they like go out a lot further, or they're a lot brighter. So this one you can actually see off, on the left side, there's those brighter white streaks that go off. It's really kind of a neat look to it. Next one is just a big ball of chaos. There's just several big fireworks in a row with lots of little balls and little colors that have really added to it. Some of the colors blow out more than others. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head exactly what colors these were. Probably if you look down into the water, up here where you see white, blue, and green, and purple, down in the bottom where the white is, it's replaced with reds and orange. So a lot of times if you look at the reflection, you know what colors you're blowing out. So there I'm blowing out some reds and oranges. For those of you that don't really get into photography, blowing out means that it's overexposed. Next one just is one of those fireworks that it goes and explodes once, and then all the little balls explode a second time. You can kind of see where there's secondary exposures off the first. You see the line go out, and then another that splits into 4. Next one, I really like when this happens, when there's a whole bunch of blue fireworks that go off together. I know I just said I like the warm ones, but there's something about when there's a whole bunch of blue ones and then just a little bit of an accent color, like this one's like a white or a yellow. Just kind of adds to it. Blue makes an awesome reflection down in the water too. Just kind of a cool, simple. I mean, there's, like they call that one the big ball of chaos. Florida's running away with this game now, and there's still 5 minutes left. Big balls are cool sometimes, but this is a little more simple. Less in there. Sometimes less is more. Kind of like this. This was brought this one down to 10 seconds, so getting a little shorter on these. The last one was 10 seconds too. Another 10-second exposure. This one you can see the fireworks look fuzzy. And so when you're at a fireworks show and you see those gold, they look like big gold sparklers. That's what I kind of, or like glitter, where instead of like it shoots out with a whole bunch of little balls that kind of go out. This is more like a whole bunch of sparks come out. It's usually gold color. That's what these are. They don't always make the best photo. Like anything, a lot of times when you're doing stuff like this, the best fireworks to watch in person are not the best fireworks to photograph. The more simple, bright ones are cooler to photograph, in my opinion, where the big glittery gold balls and gold, whatever they kind of, like rainbows or something, they don't photograph as well. But when they're in the background with other elements of a photo or fireworks show, it's kind of cool. Another one still has some of those gold. You kind of see the blurred lines, and then you got some other regular fireworks in with it. Another 10-second exposure. Here's one, another one that I said sometimes a little simple. This is a 4-second exposure. So you have a couple big purple fireworks that I probably missed by the look of it. I missed the beginning of the explosion. I caught the second half of the explosion, but then behind it there's some red, white, and blue, or actually red, green, and blue smaller shells going off in kind of, so it's kind of a cool, that secondary explosion is filling the void of what I missed on the first one, and then you got the third line going up behind it. Again, this one, these purples and blues are really reflecting good in the water. And here the water has started to calm down, so you're getting to see a little more firework, but there's still a decent texture to it. Next one, a lot of red. Again, it looks great in the water. It's a little bit blown out up in the actual firework itself, and you think, well, just bring your highlights down a little bit. Well, one of my processing that I do is I already bring the highlights down, so they're pretty hot if I can't recover them there. So there's some other tricks I could have done. I could have brought the whole exposure down, but I kind of like the ground to look like the ground does in this picture. And I'm trying to keep a little bit of what's left of the blue sky. As you can see, as we go along, these are getting darker and darker with that blue sky. So next one here, I actually zoomed in on the fireworks and zoomed in on the Kaneko sculpture in the background. And this is what I was talking about. You can really see on the fireworks shooting up in the air, you can see all the sparks coming off because the wind is blowing. It looks like they all have hairs coming off to the left or blowing the same direction the flag is. And that's a product of the wind blowing the sparks all in one direction. So it really adds like a cool element as they're going up. And then this zoomed in on the Kaneko thing, and the Kaneko is really reflecting well in the water. And then I just have a little bit of the fireworks above it. Just kind of a neat picture. I could have done this to all of them, but I just wanted to throw in something different. That's a huge sculpture down there too. You can probably see the people in the picture. So if you haven't seen this sculpture in person, it's probably 25 feet tall, I would guess. Next one, we're getting towards the end of the show. The sky's getting really dark. This is just a bunch of traditional firework balls, or firework shells that just make the big colorful balls. Some of my favorite to photograph are just the big colorful balls. This one's neat. You can see on the upper right hand one, sometimes the balls change colors as they go out. So you can see how it started off blue and then the tips are all red. It's kind of a neat thing when you do this. This is a short exposure. This is 1.6 seconds. So this must have been during the finale. In the finale, you just got to crank him down, which would also make sense why my sky is not blue. Another one in the finale. This is getting... What happens in the finale is, besides that you blow them out real easy, you end up with short exposures, you also get a lot more smoke. And I'm not a huge fan of the smoke. If this was black, I probably would have used my burn and dodge tool and burned the sky a little more, just kind of trying to bring that smoke down. And then one last one here, again in the finale, another 1.6 second exposure. That's how these things are going off so fast in that finale. This is from J&M Displays. J&M does pretty much all the good fireworks shows around here. I mean, I'm not saying no one else does anything good, but J&M is like the premier. Memorial Park, College World Series, Storm Chasers. They do all the New Year's Eve shows, stuff like that. So, just a lot of cool fireworks in the finale, and just gets to be chaos. But yeah, sometimes I don't even really do much with the finale photos. I just I do more watching. I mean, it's the finale is probably better to watch than to try to photograph. But all in all, great show. I think it was exactly 10 minutes. I forget what I ended up here with. If it tells me, but probably a dozen photos or so. But yeah, great fireworks show. And so it is the 17th of June. You'll probably see this video come out on the 19th because it's Tuesday, so Thursday. So we're just getting into fireworks season. I don't really photograph any of the neighborhood stuff. Sometimes if my neighbors are, I'll take a couple pictures, but I just like the big professional shows with the big shells that do a lot of cool things. So, but yeah, I've got Memorial Park coming up, Storm Chasers coming up. I'm sure Shadow Ridge, their stuff's probably, it might even be this Friday now that I think about it. And then Champions, they'll do another show out there on usually... actually on the 4th, usually one down in Bellevue if it already hasn't happened. So if you like firework photography, get your camera out, start with a 4-second exposure, and just experiment. I mean, you're going to a free fireworks show, you've nothing to lose. Just go get the camera out, start with 4 seconds, and basically set your camera up and take a 4-second picture of the scene. So expose for, you know, your grass or your buildings or your trees or whatever else is in whatever element you have photographed or in your frame. So fireworks are cool, but they look so much cooler when you actually have them framed with a building or a lake or trees or just something to make them look cool. So set up, get your 4-second exposure, expose for your scene, whether that's going to be, a 200 ISO or a 1600 ISO, and just experiment, have fun with it. So, thanks for tuning in. Sorry this one's late. The next one's not gonna be late. I already have the next one planned out. This month was just kind of just the way it all happened. I busy and came off a bad art fair and just kind of made a bad video. So at least I calmed down and thought about it and decided not to post it, and then came up with something better. So hope you're all enjoying your dad jokes. Hope you had a great Father's Day. Oh, and Florida just won the Stanley Cup, so I'm gonna finish this video up and check that out and enjoy the rest of my dad jokes. So again, I always appreciate people tuning in. I appreciate the feedback. Give these videos a thumbs up or send me a comment, or just enjoy watching it. But again, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again next month.